discuss how lecturers teach students with special needs.
We need to discuss how lecture teach students with special needs so that all can learn comfortably and fairly.
That way, lecturers can adjust their teaching methods according to needs, and all students have an equal opportunity to succeed.
To learn about how lecturers teach students with disabilities, we'll be conducting interview to explore their experience. Let's take a closer look in this video.
Usually for me, the curriculum is fixed, so there's no changing it or there's no tailoring them in order to face certain challenges, because the courses that I've been teaching up until recently are not dealing with inclusivity or gap between disabled students and able-bodied students, but rather I try to adapt by trying to change my methods of teaching. So let's say, for example, in one of my classes right now, there's a student with hearing impaired problems. So she's deaf, and she always sits in my classes with I think a mentor or someone who helps her with her tasks and with her notes. So I make sure that I speak very clearly and very near her so that she can read my lips, and so that the person who accompanies her can take notes properly. And I also make sure that there's always a printed material available for not just her but also other students, for them to access properly so that they can assess their knowledge of the certain subjects and they're not left behind. Mostly it's just ensuring that for a certain disability I have to adapt somehow. There was a blind student that I was also teaching last year, and my method for teaching him was making sure that for every printed material available, they're easy to be read by speech-to-text softwares, or that I record them. If I don't prepare or if I didn't give that student certain printed material, then I made sure that the student got it by listening to my recorded speech. So ensuring that each student has a tailored access according to their specific needs was very difficult, but I tried to do that. I made an effort with my teaching team in order to ensure that they still manage to follow through all the courses from the start to end. So it really depends on the lecturer, really. For me, I always try before I start the class, because usually in the CIADO system, in which the lecturers can access which students join which class, are they disabled or not, do they repeat this class, and what were their grades before in the first attempt when they first take the course before they retake them. But basically I always ask also personally and in class and also in the WhatsApp groups usually of each classes, are there any students living with disabilities in my course? So to make sure, and what kind of disability, how am I supposed to accommodate this, how am I supposed to deal with the difficulties in for teaching online, for example, then I have to let my teaching team know that there's a certain student in this course, and you have to pay attention to her or his needs or their needs in order to make sure that they can still, like I said before, follow through with the entire lesson plan and not get left behind. I don't know about other lecturers, but usually, again, this is based on my experience with my teaching team, which might be different for each course. Usually the most effective is to know beforehand the needs of a specific disability. Because, for example, a student living with a low visibility has different needs from student with complete blindness. That would be very different. With low visibility, you can still see, but with very limited vision. But for blind students, you are completely blind. So, do both of them need softwares, like speech-to-text softwares? That's the one thing that I ask. Are the materials that I provide them in the Google Classroom, for example, are they easily accessible and readable enough, legible enough to be read loudly by the softwares? Or if they are completely blind, then are you someone with ability to read braille text, for example? Do you need me to provide it for you? Or I never did that, but usually for the software one. Or let's say the student with a low disability and the student with deafness, the deaf student. They both have disabilities and they both have different cognitive abilities and academic abilities, etc. So I cannot handle them the same way. The deaf student needs me to read my lips. The blind student cannot read my lips, so I have to make sure that there is an audio available for the blind student, while for the deaf student I have to make sure that every material can be either lip read properly or they can be listened through a recording later by the person who accompanies her, the person who shadows her. So basically there's no specific way that could be the same for all, but to make sure that there's justice, social justice in providing same access and same, at least not same, but maximum learning outcome, then you have to make sure that all of the students can access your materials, can go through with the lesson plans, and can also raise questions whenever it's possible about the difficulties that they face in the class.
Okay, hi, I'm from Malang University and I'm in Islamic Studies major. Yes, I have been with a special needs student when I was senior high school. Yes, I think the lecturer used the media to make the students easily to understand, especially like delivering the PPT or inviting the student to see some material that related with our subject at the time. Okay, as what I said in the previous question, that our lecture use special media for our special needs student, and exactly like larger text, so we'll understand, give some such good attention to our friend when the text is bigger or when the text giving subtitles.
Okay, for the conclusion, based on the interview, it is certain that inclusive education at Visi Brawijaya University is a growing concern that involves multiple aspects of teaching and learning. Many students have had experience with inclusive classmates, which highlight the importance of adapting teaching methods to accommodate diverse needs. Lecturers are expected to present material in ways that are accessible to all students, demonstrating fairness, empathy, and adaptability.